how about then concealed carry? I was recently with a friend in a small town, and he had a really nice Sig Sauer with he had the clip in, obviously, and then it had like another clip beside it, and it was a holster in the small of his back. It looked like a really good setup.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries a lot. And the next day, I was also sitting in the backyard. This was not when the power was out. This is another instance. But for some weird little reason, it hit me. I think it was because it was like a country town.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me like back in the days of like the Wild West, you carried. It's what you did. It was the world you were living in. You carried.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, at least in this setting, in this town, is that the world we're living in? And I just didn't know it. How do you think about that? Do you think this is the world we're living in where you should be carrying?
Well, I think yes.
do.
Short answer, yes. Here's the thing. So, with all of us, like I said earlier, one of the things that we initially go into is everybody doing an individual threat assessment. It's kind of something that I took from, my military time and adopted it to this, but, because everything is different. But, we can fall into or think about, hey, I'm in a small town somewhere. Nothing really ever happens here. And, we can look at statistics, and statistics, are great for our training and planning and equipment we buy and things like that. But, one thing that's bad about statistics is we can have all the statistical data. They don't mean anything when something different happens. Mm-hmm. And so, statistically speaking, most of us are never going to encounter violence. We're never going to be, robbed or shot at or somebody try to stab us or something like that, despite what the media and that want to make us think. But when today is our day, that statistical data doesn't mean anything. And, bad folks that come and try and do harm to us, unfortunately, we don't get, an email or a phone call or carrier pigeon smoke signal, however it is y'all communicate, saying that, hey, today's going to be the day. We just don't really know. And it's important to be prepared for that. And I'll tell people all the time, we're not trying to be paranoid. We just want to be prepared. And that gives confidence. And, if we never have to use any of the stuff that we train people for, or that you go out and practice with, that's great. And we hope that that's the way that it goes, but hope's not a really good strategy.
Yep. So you do think we're just living in the world where it is prudent to carry?
I think it's important if you take the responsibility of the people that you care about and yourself, which that's a big thing too. I think it's important. You have to have a way to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to me, at least, this is one area where I think it was also different in upstate New York. I do think less people carried in upstate New York.
Sure.
Where I'm from, and then more people carry here in Tennessee. And but people conceal their carry, and so you don't see everyone who's out carrying a gun around.
Sure.
And I've not been in the military, and there's like a zillion things you need to be focused on in life, and it's just, I think it's just one of those things where it hasn't been that top of mind. And then I have, though, more recently bumped into more people that are carrying, and I don't think they've started to carry. They've just been carrying, and I didn't even know it.
Sure.
I'm realizing more people are carrying.
Yeah.
And then after that experience in this small town, and just thinking, wow, what if actually the world we are living in, and you should be carrying, and I just haven't caught on to that yet. That's not something I want to be late to the party about.
Sure.
About knowing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so you would suggest that if people are at least willing or up for it, that they should be carrying or have one with them or in the car?
So, I highly encourage people, if you're serious about, your personal protection and taking care of the people that you care about, a firearm is a good option, but building a system, and with that, getting training. Because, you know, I mean, in the state of Tennessee here, you know, we've got some pretty good gun laws across the board, but we've got the handgun carry permit. We've got the concealed carry permit. It's an open carry state. We have permitless carry now recently. And those are all great things. But just because you can strap a gun on because you're of age and you can legally do it doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. You've got to have some training with it. And, you know, we're big advocates of that. Knowing when, you know, you can employ a firearm to protect yourself, protect people, you know, around you, where all the laws, you know, to keep you in the right. Because like I said, you know, you also have to think about that post-fight part, that if you did use this firearm, you know, and I still come out on top, but I end up in prison, you know, for 20 or 25 years, did I really win?
Yeah.
And so we think, you know, and we're advocates of training. We think that's extremely important. But if you take that step down the path of personal protection, then we think if you know, a gun is a big part of that, in addition to the other things that we've talked about, getting good training, going and practicing, and having it on you. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times people say, well, you know, the gun, it's uncomfortable, and, you know, I only carry it if I think I'm going to need it. And, you know, my response to that is it's not supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be comforting. And the second thing is, if I know that I was going to need it, I'm not going to go to where where that's going to happen. You know, I'm going to stay home, or I'm going to take a bunch of my, you know, former Special Forces brothers with me, you know, and maybe a tank or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't get to choose the time and the place. Yeah.